I'm going to do something slightly different this week. So, a lot of times we'll talk about M&A and all that cool stuff, but the reality is most of the work is in operating. And in that vein, let's talk about content and experimenting with AI generated content. And much like everybody else in the world, we too are experimenting with this. We just bought a company called Support Guy. It had a blog with 2 articles, and we needed to kind of fill that out with a couple more. So this Chatbots versus Human Support, the Future of Customer Support were the initial 2 blog posts, and these other ones were ones that I added, most of which were generated just straight through Chat GPT. I didn't do much editing, but that's the experiment, is to see, can we get these sites to rank and these articles to rank without having to spend a lot of time or a lot of money doing it. So let's dig into how we're doing it. So our AI content experience setup, or the experiment setup, includes Ghost, ChatGPT, and something called Placid. So Ghost is our blogging platform. That's this thing here. It's free. It's open. It's free if you want to self-host it. It's open source. If you want to self-host it, though, you still need to deploy it somewhere. So we put it on DigitalOcean on one of those like $6 servers. So this thing, our blog, is $6 a month. Although if you just want to get started quickly, Ghost is great. Just pay for their tier, whatever, and skip the trouble of setting it up. I don't think it's very expensive. $9 per month, billed yearly. Yeah, whatever, $11. Yeah, just do it. Don't self-host it like we do. It's stupid. Okay, so once you have Ghost set up, then obviously we'll need ChatGPT and Placid. So let's go through Ghost. We kind of already did. Blogging platform, free and open source. I like it. It's great. There are a couple things out of the box that I like about it. So first is this subscribe thing. People can subscribe to the email standalone. They also have an API, so you can add people as they sign up to your app. And this can be your area where people get updates from you. In their admin area, you can also send each of these blog posts as emails or not. So you can sometimes just publish and put it on the site, or you can send them as an email newsletter. They have a nice little email newsletter section where you can customize this and put, some kind of image and your logo, whatever. It looks fine. It's totally fine. And free, again, or very cheap. So I don't think you need to go and spend a bunch of money on MailChimp. It doesn't matter how big your list size is here, because again, this is self-hosted, or if it's not self-hosted, you're still just paying for the infrastructure and for Ghost itself, not based on the number of email subscribers. I think you can also charge people if you want to, so you can have a private area and a public area. Anyways, that's Ghost. If you want to take a look at what editing one of your articles looks like in the back end, it's got a nice little editor with some metadata stuff. Anyways, so I don't care if this is WordPress for you. We use Ghost, but you don't have to. So going back here, let's go to the next step. Placid. We need some way to generate all of these images. So if you go back to our blog, view site, these images, these are kind of a pain in the ass to create. I don't like doing these by hand. I used to do them sometimes using a tool called Photopea. It's like Photoshop in the browser, but free. And really amazing. It's insane. I use this thing all the time. I think I heard this guy is making, I think it's just a single dude making over $1 million a year, just a one-person business. It's all, for the nerds out there, it's all like just local JavaScript too, so there's not even really any backend for this thing. Totally insane. Amazing this guy built this. I don't know how the hell he did it, but it's awesome. So back to reality. We got to generate these images. If you want to do them by hand, Godspeed. But I'm using this tool called Placid. So here's our template, as they call it. We'll click edit. I set all this stuff up because I thought I was going to try and automate this, but it turns out the experience of just using ChatGPT ends up being a lot cheaper. And sometimes if you guys have played with this at all, sometimes it doesn't get it right on the first time, or the first try, or the second try, or even the third try sometimes. So it's kind of nice to be able to noodle with the thing here and then just let it do its thing, copy and paste it. It takes a little bit longer, but still it's maybe 8 minutes per blog post. And I don't need 300 of these, although if I did, I could automate this and potentially get there, but I think I'm getting higher quality results with maybe a little editing by doing it manually. So if you want to just quickly generate these images, once you set up your template, I think I just grabbed one of these, the templates they already had. I didn't even edit it that much. You can click test, and then you can change your title here and just click download. And then this is the exact image that I'm using. I just drag and drop it into Ghost as the kind of hero image. So now that we have our image, and I kind of jumped the gun here, you'll get this title from Chat GPT. So Chat GPT will generate one of these titles for you that you can just copy and paste into here. So that's Placid. Chat GPT, here's the prompt. I'll copy and paste this for you guys to be able to use. For those who are not watching, it's very simple. Feel free to iterate on this. These results are fine, but by all means, this is not like the most amazing prompt I've ever created. Rewrite this blog post, keep the meaning, but don't worry about substituting the exact correct word. Just keep the tone the same and make it a little fun and a little informal. Bring your personality out. Occasional emojis are okay. So rewrite this blog post. That's the main task. Keep the meaning, but don't worry about substituting the exact correct word. If you don't, I've had results where it will try almost verbatim to like use a thesaurus to rework the blog post to keep almost the exact same sentence structure, but just substituting different words. If you tell it to not plagiarize, that might be something I've experimented with in the prompt. But that's where this step comes from, is that's what it does. If you just say rewrite the blog post but don't plagiarize, it'll get weird with it'll act like a weird thesaurus. Just keep the tone the same, make it a little fun and a little informal. By default, ChatGPT will output something that's super stiff and dry as all hell. So I like to add these, like, emojis are okay, bring your personality out, make it fun, a little informal. You can play with this and see if you can get some different results. So we have our image generator, we have our blog, and we have ChatGPT. The step that I didn't put in here, that if you wanted to do some like long tail SEO keyword research, you can use something like SEMrush. For chatbase.co, so this was the site that we were trying to get set up really quickly. We bought it last week. There's really not that many competitors, and the competitors that are there don't really have blogs. So we didn't have really a great way to research how other people were doing their content stuff. If you were trying to find out what your competitors were ranking for, you could use one of these tools to figure out what type of content you should be creating. What I also like doing is just going to a competitor and copying a blog post I like and using that prompt that says rewrite the blog post. You're not going to get the rich images or videos that somebody else might have laid in there, but you'll have the same content, and that's a pretty great start, good enough for us, at least for this experiment. So let's say we use one of these tools, or we found a competitor. So we're building something that's a competitor to Vidyard. We have on their blog found some article that we'd like and we want to rip. Then we'll go to the blog, we'll find one of these articles, and we'll just copy and paste the text and put it into ChatGPT with our prompt. So not one of these video guides. Let's best AI prompts for sellers. So this one's great. Best AI prompts for sellers. Just copy this whole thing. Not the whole thing. I'll just copy part of it for this. I do like pasting it into like a code editor because it'll remove all the weird characters. And then I can just add my prompt. So let me go back and add my rewrite this blog post prompt. I'll add that to the top of my text here. And then I might do something like just call this out for ChatGPT, just say that this is the blog post, and then use these capital words. I don't know if this makes a huge difference, but knowing how machine learning systems work, it's nice to be really clear like this. So rewrite the blog post all caps, and blog post is all caps, and then you give it the blog post so it kind of knows where the instructions end and the blog post begin. And you take this whole thing, you would just pop this into ChatGPT, and it comes up with this title, so Selling 2.0 using ChatGPT AI for sales. So this will take a while to generate, but here's my title. So I would take this title, I would go back to Placid, I would enter this in as my text and download this. So I've got my image, ChatGPT is doing its thing. When it's done, right, I would just copy and paste this into Ghost and I would post it. We might backfill these. So by that I mean we might generate like 30 to 50 of these and go back in time and backdate it so it looks like this thing's been around for a little bit longer than it has. You can do that in Ghost. You just go into the post, and on that right hand side where there were the metadata for the post, you can do a publish date and backdate it to, I don't know, right, April March of 2023, just so it looks like there's been some content up there for a little bit. And then you can submit that to Google Search Console, and we'll see how it goes.